Most people think a toxic individual is powerful. They aren't. They are parasites of attention. Their entire dominance relies on a single fragile wire, your willingness to participate in their reality. If you try to get revenge, you lose. If you try to explain yourself, you lose. Why? Because you are still treating them as an equal player on your stage. Today, we aren't talking about winning an argument. We are talking about psychic dominance. We are talking about the art of stripping a person of their power by becoming so internally heavy that they simply cannot move you. This is how you win the battle before it even starts, by becoming the only real thing in the room. The reason every confrontation with a toxic individual backfires is brutal. You are looking for a resolution while they are looking for a kill. You walk into that room thinking that if you just show them your heart, if you just explain how much they've bled you dry, they'll finally have that moment of clarity. They won't. Toxic people don't use language to communicate. They use it to mutilate your reality. When you tell them they hurt you, you aren't fixing the relationship. You are handing them a map of your open wounds. You are literally pointing to the softest parts of your soul and saying, here is where it hurts the most. And because their goal is winning, not understanding, they will use that information to twist the knife deeper the next time they need to feel powerful. Conflictive people have no floor. They will play the most disgusting, dirty games because they have no shame. The second you call them out, they execute a total victim reversal. They will look you dead in the eye, with a conviction that makes you question your own sanity and claim that you are the toxic one. They will project every rotting, pathetic trait they possess onto you. Suddenly, you aren't the one who was lied to. You're the liar. You aren't the one who was abused. You're the abuser. They will scream, they will cry fake tears, and they will play the victim so convincingly that you find yourself apologizing to the person who just tried to destroy you. This is psychological projection. They are taking their own internal filth and dumping it into your lap, and then they watch with a sick satisfaction. Understand the biology of this. They are starving for your reaction, your shaking hands, your cracked voice, your desperate need to be heard. That is their supply. It is high-octane fuel for their ego. They don't care if you hate them, they just care that you are obsessed with them. When you confront them, you are giving them a 5-course meal of your energy. They will say the most outrageous, disgusting lies just to see that vein in your forehead throb. They want to see you break. They want to see you exhausted. As long as you are still trying to make them see, they own you. You are a battery that they are draining to power their own hollow existence. Stop jading. Stop justifying, arguing, defending, or explaining. The second you start explaining, you are begging for their permission to be right. The second you start defending, you are acknowledging that they have the authority to judge you. It is pathetic to watch a sovereign soul beg a parasite for a fair trial. You don't owe them a trial. You don't owe them a final talk. You don't owe them the truth because they've already proven they will only use the truth to build a bigger lie. The only move left is total withdrawal. You let them think they won. You let them tell their twisted version of the story to anyone who will listen. You let them be the victim in their own delusional head. You stop caring about clearing your name because your name is only dirty in a world that you no longer inhabit. You win the second you realize that their opinion is trash, and you stop digging through the trash to find your worth. This is the moment you stop being a frantic, bleeding heart and start being a black hole of certainty. Toxic individuals are paper thin. They exist only through the performance of their own chaos. They are a theatre of ghosts begging for an audience. But when you anchor yourself in the absolute bedrock of your own being, you become a force of psychic gravity. Their insults, their lies, and their frantic attempts to shatter your peace don't just fail, They disintegrate the moment they hit the atmosphere of your presence. You are no longer coping or surviving. You are an ancient, immovable mountain watching a gust of wind try to scream its way into existence. By being the only person in the room who isn't performing, you make their entire world look like a cheap, desperate lie. You don't have to break them. You simply have to be so undeniable that they shatter themselves against the silence of your soul. A toxic individual survives on friction. They need you to push back so they have something to lean on. But we have to look at the soil. What makes a specific human being the perfect ground for a predator to feel powerful? It isn't weakness. In fact, it's usually the opposite. The perfect ground is a soul that is overflowing with a need to be seen as good. When you have an obsessive need to justify your actions, to clear your name, or to prove your integrity to someone who is actively attacking it, you are providing a masterclass in leverage. You are handing them a remote control to your nervous system. A toxic individual feels like a god when they realize they can make you dance just by accusing you of something you didn't do. They aren't looking for a broken person. They are looking for a responsible person, because a responsible person will stay in the fire trying to fix a situation that was designed to burn them. Your empathy is their playground. Your logic is their weapon. To a toxic individual, your desire for a fair trial is a hilarious joke. They don't want a fair trial. They want a spectacle. They feel powerful when they see you sweating, stuttering, and exhausting your mental energy trying to explain common sense to a person who is pretending not to understand it. The perfect ground is someone who still believes that if I just find the right words, they'll finally see. That belief is a leash. As long as you are trying to reach them, they own you. They are harvesting the electricity of your frustration to fill the void where their own soul should be. You aren't a person to them. You are a power station. A toxic individual doesn't just show up. They scout for the person who is leaking energy. If you are someone who is desperate to be understood, someone who explains their feelings for 3 hours to a person who doesn't care, you are fertile ground. You are providing the exact nutrients they need to stay alive. They don't want your love. They want your distress. They want to see your hands shake. They want to see that vein in your forehead throb while you try to prove you're a good person. Your goodness is the very thing they are using to skin you alive. Every time you cry out for closure, you are just handing them the knife and asking for another cut. To dominate them, you have to become psychologically repulsive. You have to stop being nice and start being dead inside when they are around. This isn't about healing, it's about starving the beast. You need to realize that every word you say in your defense is a hit of dopamine for them. They are junkies for your reaction. When you stop crying, stop explaining, and stop trying to fix the unfixable, you are cutting off their oxygen. You have to make yourself a cold, hard wall of nothing. Let them scream at the wall. Let them lie to the wall. Eventually, they will get bored and go find someone else who is still bleeding for them. You aren't protecting your peace. You are making yourself inedible. Dominance begins when you stop providing that surface. In psychology, this is the empty room principle. When they attack, when they gaslight, when they try to trigger you, you don't defend. Defense is a confession that their words have weight. Instead, you offer them nothing but a calm, dead-eyed observation. You aren't ignoring them. You are witnessing them like a boring movie. This isn't about getting through it. It's about the total surgical removal of their influence over your nervous system. A toxic individual's power is a phantom limb. It only exists as long as you provide the blood and the bone for it to move. The moment you achieve absolute internal density, you aren't just ignoring them, you are severing the connection. You are making them realize that their most shattering tactics are actually just pathetic, low-budget tantrums hitting a mountain of lead. We aren't here to manage the situation. We are here to reclaim the throne of your own consciousness. The vacuum of silence. Most people are terrified of silence. They think they have to fill the air with words to win the argument. But in the world of psychological dominance, the first person to speak is the one who loses. When a toxic individual attacks you, they are expecting a fight. They are expecting you to scramble for excuses. Don't. Just look at them. Don't look at them with anger. Anger is a gift. Anger is a high-voltage current that tells them they still have the power to move your blood. Instead, look at them with a flat, hollow, "so what" expression. Let the silence hang there until it feels like it's choking them. This is the vacuum. You are forcing them to sit in the filth of their own behavior without the distraction of your reaction. You are performing an execution of their significance. But here is the kill switch. This vacuum only works if you aren't secretly waiting for them to tell you you're right. To truly perform this psychological castration, you have to leave behind your desperate, starving need for their validation. The reason most people fail at this is because they are still negotiating for a confession. They are waiting for the toxic person to say, "You're right, I was wrong." That wait is a leash. If you are still seeking their approval, you aren't a sovereign. You're a beggar in a crown. Dominance begins the second you realize that their opinion of you is worthless. You have to burn the part of yourself that wants them to see you. When you stop caring whether they view you as a hero or a villain, you become untouchable. A toxic person feels like a god when they realize they can make you dance, just by withholding a compliment or weaponizing a criticism. But when you disinvest, when you look at their judgment and see nothing but the desperate scribblings of a broken mind, the leash snaps. To help more, I've built a psychological weapon called the Void Protocol. This isn't a guide or a self-help PDF. This is a manual for the total psychological castration of the predator's influence. The Void Protocol is free. Download it at the link below. Understand the damage this does. A toxic person's ego is a leaky bucket that requires constant pumping from the outside world. When you apply the vacuum, you are performing a psychic castration. You are cutting off the air supply to their self-importance. By meeting their calculated malice with the bored gaze of a person watching paint dry, you are sending a devastating message. You are not important enough to affect me. This silence deletes them from the map of what matters. This is where they panic. When the vacuum starts to burn, they will escalate. They will scream louder, lie harder, and throw every hook they have at your face. They might even switch tactics and come with fake goodness. But a mountain doesn't argue with the wind. You stay heavy, you stay silent, you watch them exhaust themselves against the iron wall of your indifference. Eventually, they don't just stop, they break. They realize that their power was actually just a loan you've decided to stop paying. You haven't just won the argument, you've erased the antagonist while they are still standing right in front of you. When the vacuum starts to burn, the predator will change tactics. This is hoovering. They will try to suck you back into their orbit with fake apologies, manufactured crises, or sudden nostalgia. They are testing the wires to see if the psychological castration was successful. They are looking for a spark, any sign that you are still plugged in. Most people fall here because they mistake hoovering for change. It isn't change, it's a recolonization attempt. If you respond, you are telling them that your boundaries have a price. You are telling them that if they scream or sweet-talk loud enough, the sovereign will eventually come to the door. The protocol is absolute, zero acknowledgement. You don't explain why you aren't responding. You don't send a final text. You treat their attempt to reach you like a signal from a dead planet. There is a profound difference between elegant silence and getting dragged into the mud. The mud is where they want you. They want the screaming matches. They want the 3 a.m. paragraphs. Understand what is happening in that moment. When you are staring at a glowing screen in the dead of night, thumbs trembling, typing out a 1,000-word manifesto to explain your truth to a person who has already decided to lie about you, you are being bled dry. Every sentence you craft is a gift to their ego. They don't read those paragraphs for understanding. They read them for proof of impact. They look at the length of your text and they feel like a god, because they see exactly how much real estate they still own inside your head. In the mud, you are just another victim begging for a fair trial in a court where the judge is the one who stabbed you. When you send that message, you aren't defending yourself. You are auditioning for their approval. You are showing them that you are still plugged in, still leaking energy, still desperate for them to say the words they will never say. You are trading your sleep, your sanity, and your status for a read receipt. Every time you refuse to answer a provocation, you are performing a psychic strangulation. You are showing them that they have become so insignificant, so utterly hollow, that they don't even warrant the effort of a no. In the mud, they are begging for your words because your words are the only thing that makes them feel real. By withholding them, you leave them starving in a sensory deprivation chamber of their own making. There is a cold, lethal pride in looking at a predator and realizing they aren't even worth the breath it takes to tell them to leave. You aren't holding back. You have simply withdrawn the light, and now they have to sit in the dark and realize they are nothing. This channel is my life's work. It is the art I build to help people reclaim their throne. But a creator is only as strong as the empire behind them. If this video gave you the tools to stop being fertile ground, don't forget to like. Share this video. It helps me immensely when you send this to someone currently trapped in a rigged courtroom. You might be the reason they finally cut the feed. Like and subscribe. It tells the algorithm that this brand of power. Comment sovereign. If you've decided to stop jading and start executing the silence, leave that word below. Seeing your commitment is what keeps me creating these explorations. And as a final reminder, the link for the Void Protocol is in the description and also the pinned comment. It's my free gift to you to ensure that once you leave the mud, you never go back. Stop the feed, execute the erasure. I'll see you in the next one.